Empire on edge. A mysterious ship appears with no origin, and it's approaching. At the far edge of human space, near the dark border where no one lived, a signal appeared. It was not loud. It was not dangerous. It was just strange. Commander Ray of Deep Station Echo was the first to see it. She stared at her screen, confused. The signal did not match anything in the Empire's database. No ship, no planet, no known technology. It was a blank. "Could be a glitch," said one of the techs. Ray shook her head. "No, it's real. It's moving." The strange object was flying slowly, coming from deep space. Too far for clear visuals, but close enough for the sensors to feel it. It was big, bigger than any civilian ship, but it didn't answer any hails. No voice, no signal back, just silence. Across the station, alarms started ringing. Deep Station Echo wasn't made for war, but it was at the edge of the Empire. If trouble came from outside, this station was the first to know. "Call High Command," Ray ordered. "Tell them something is coming." Within minutes, other stations picked up the signal too. The ship was moving straight, slow, and steady. Not fast like an attack ship, not sneaky like a spy. Just coming quietly. In the main command room, the crew watched the screen as the ship came closer. A blurry image started to form. "It's not like anything we've seen before," said the engineer. "No engines, no heat. It's cold, like it's dead." But dead ships don't fly themselves. Soon the image became clear. The ship was black, smooth, and had no markings. No windows, no lights. Just a long, dark body like a floating whale in space. It didn't spin. It didn't wobble. It was too perfect. "What do you think it is?" a young officer asked. Ray didn't answer. She was too focused. She had served for 20 years. Seen war, seen pirates, seen peace treaties break in seconds. But this was different. The Empire's high command gave orders. "Do not engage. Observe. Send drones." 3 small drones flew out from Echo Station, heading toward the ship. They scanned everything. Surface, metal, unknown. Energy, 0. Like signs, none. "No doors, no engines, no windows," said the drone operator. "It's just there." Then, without warning, the ship stopped. Just outside the Empire's defense border. Right on the line. Everyone went silent. The only sound was the soft hum of machines. "It knows our border," whispered someone. "It stopped on purpose." Still no response. Still no movement. Suddenly the ship lit up. Not bright, not loud. Just one soft white light. A small hatch near the front opened, slowly, quietly. And then, nothing came out. "What is it waiting for?" someone asked. "Maybe it's a trap," said another. "Or maybe it wants us to come inside." The command room filled with quiet fear. What kind of ship comes from nowhere, with no engines, no crew, and just waits at the edge of human space? Some believed it was alien. Others said it was human-made but lost. A few thought it was a message, a warning. But no one really knew. That night, Commander Ray stood alone at the window of the station. The black ship floated in front of her, cold and quiet. "Why are you here?" she whispered. The ship didn't answer. But Ray could feel it. Someone was watching. And that was only the beginning. Commander Ray couldn't sleep. The black ship was still there, floating like a silent shadow outside the station. The small hatch near the front remained open. But nothing had come out. No sounds, no movement, just the open door and a feeling, a strange, heavy feeling in the air. She walked into the command center early. Most of the crew hadn't slept either. They watched the screen, waiting, whispering. The black ship had done nothing all night, but no one believed it was empty. "We need answers," said Ray. "Send in a probe, small, fast. If it doesn't come back, we stop." The tech team launched a tiny probe. It flew silently through space toward the ship. As it reached the open hatch, the feed from the camera stayed clear. The hatch was just open, like a mouth waiting to swallow something. "Going in," said the operator. The camera passed through the hatch. Inside, everything was dark. No lights, no walls, just blackness. The probe shined its light. The walls were made of metal, smooth and silver. No wires, no screens, no life. "Is it hollow?" someone asked. Then the signal broke. "No, no, no, bring it back," the operator shouted. The probe was gone. Disconnected. Vanished like it had fallen into a deep hole. A cold silence fell over the room. No one said anything for a while. Then came the sound. Just a low hum at first, soft, almost like a whisper in the back of the head. Everyone in the room felt it at the same time. "Do you hear that?" someone asked. The sound grew louder, not through the speakers, not from the ship, inside their heads. Whispers, words, not clear, not loud, but real. Commander Ray stood still. Her hands started shaking. "It's speaking." One of the officers screamed and fell to the floor. He held his head, crying, "Make it stop! Make it stop!" Medics rushed in. The sound faded. "What was that?" someone asked. No one had an answer. The Empire's high command sent an urgent message. "Prepare for full lockdown. If the ship makes any move, destroy it." But Ray wasn't sure if that would help. This ship, it wasn't normal. It wasn't a machine. It felt alive. And whatever it was, it didn't come here to fight. Not yet. Hours passed. Then something changed. The ship started turning. Not fast, not like a threat, just a slow, careful turn toward the planet below. The planet was called Virene 5, a small world with a science colony. No army, just peaceful researchers, scientists, and children. "Why is it looking at Virene 5? Someone whispered. Ray stared at the screen. "It knows something." The whispers returned, softer this time. They filled the air like mist. This time the words were clearer. "Home. Return. Not yours." The crew looked at each other afraid. "What does it mean?" someone asked. Ray took a deep breath. "I don't know." Then one last word came through. Deep, powerful, full of pain. "Warning." The ship stopped turning. The hatch closed. And just like that, silence again. But this silence didn't feel safe anymore. It felt like the calm before a storm. The black ship didn't move again. After the hatch closed, it just floated, silent and cold. But everyone on Deep Station Echo could feel something had changed. The message still echoed in their minds. "Warning. Not yours. Return." Commander Ray stood in front of the large screen. The ship's image was frozen there, dark, still, but not forgotten. "Check every old file," she said to her team. "I don't care how far back. I want to know if anything like this has ever happened before." The techs got to work, searching deep archives, hidden files, and old exploration logs. Most of the Empire's history was clear and clean. But in the deeper layers in the classified records, strange things began to appear. "Commander," said one of the officers, pale and nervous, "I found something." Ray walked over and stared at the screen. The file was over 300 years old, from the time of first space expansion. A forgotten expedition to a system far beyond the current border. The mission had vanished. No return, no signals, nothing. But before the crew disappeared, they sent one last message. "We found it. It was waiting. We never should have come." Attached was a single blurry image, a dark, smooth ship. No engines, no lights. It looked exactly the same as the one outside. "How is that possible?" Ray whispered. "That was 3 centuries ago. More digging brought more strange reports. Ships lost without reason. Colonies wiped out overnight. In each one, the same words appeared in their final messages. Not ours." And then one log that froze everyone in the room. "It's not a ship. It's a prison." The room went silent. "A prison?" someone asked. "For what?" No one knew. Back outside the station, the black ship started glowing faintly. Not bright, but with soft white patterns moving across its body. Like veins. Like something inside it was waking up. "We need to get people off Arene 5, Ray said. Now." The order was sent. Evacuation started immediately. Shuttles flew down to pick up the colony people. Scientists, families, kids. Everyone was brought to the station. But time was short. The ship was glowing more now. The air around it shimmered like heat on metal. One scientist, Dr. Lin, stepped forward. She had studied old alien languages. She had also felt the voice in her mind. "I think it's warning us because something inside is about to get out," she said. "And it doesn't want to hurt us. It wants us to stay away." "But what's inside?" Ray asked. Dr. Lin looked at the screen. Something old. Something dangerous. Something that wasn't meant to be found. Suddenly, the lights on the station flickered. And the ship began to open again. Not just one hatch this time, dozens. Each one glowing with soft white light. Then, a signal. Not in words, in images. Everyone in the command room gasped as the vision hit them at once. A war, fire, planets breaking. Creatures made of smoke and metal. One of them locked inside a black ship. Not dead. Not alive. Trapped. "Someone built that ship as a cage," Dr. Lin said. "And we've just shaken the lock." Ray stared at the screen. She knew what would happen next. The prison was opening. And no one knew how to close it. The black ship was no longer silent. Dozens of hatches glowed like pale stars, and strange light flowed from inside. The ship had not moved, but it felt alive now, like it was breathing, like it was preparing. Commander Ray stood at the center of the control room, eyes fixed on the screen. "Is everyone off the planet?" "Last shuttle is leaving now." A crew member answered. "They're safe." But no one on the station felt safe. Not anymore. Inside the black ship, something stirred. Dr. Lin sat in the med bay, hooked to a monitor. Ever since the last signal, she'd been hearing things again. Words, shapes, memories that weren't hers. The doctors said her brain was reacting to the ship's strange energy, but she knew better. "It's not trying to hurt us," she whispered. "It's trying to warn us. Something inside is waking up." Suddenly, the ship sent out a wave of light, bright and fast like a silent pulse. The station shook slightly. Lights blinked. Systems froze for 2 seconds, and then came back online. No damage, but something had changed. The image on the screen was different now. There was movement inside the ship. A shape stepped forward from one of the glowing hatches. Not walking, floating. It was tall, thin, and wrapped in metal-like skin. Its head was smooth, without eyes, but it looked around like it could see everything. Its body gave off a soft white glow, like moonlight trapped inside glass. Everyone on the station watched in silence. "What is that?" someone asked. The creature floated in space, just outside its ship. It didn't move toward the station. It didn't attack. It just hovered there, like it was waiting. Then another one appeared. And another. 5 of them. Silent. Glowing. Watching. Commander Ray stepped back from the screen. "Get the weapons ready." "They're not doing anything," said Dr. Lin. "They could have attacked already. I don't think they want war." "They stepped out of a prison ship," Ray said. "They weren't supposed to get out at all." Suddenly, one of the glowing beings raised its hand. A beam of soft light stretched toward the station, but stopped short. It didn't touch the ship. It just showed something. A vision. Everyone in the control room saw it. An old planet, green and beautiful. People, maybe not human, but close, living in peace. Then darkness. The sky tearing apart. Creatures made of fire and steel raining down. Chaos. Death. The glowing beings fighting to stop them and losing. In the end, the prison ship was built. It wasn't meant to protect others. It was meant to hold the last survivors of a broken world. These glowing beings. "They're not the enemy," Dr. Lin whispered. "They're refugees." The light faded. Then, without warning, the ship began to close again. The beings floated back toward it slowly, like they were returning to sleep. "No," Ray said. "Wait." But they didn't stop. Then, just before the final hatch closed, one of them turned back and sent a single word into their minds. "Coming." The ship sealed itself. The glow faded, and all was quiet again. But the meaning of the word was clear. Something else was out there, and it was coming. The black ship had gone silent again. The glowing beings disappeared back inside, and the hatches closed like nothing had ever opened. But the message they left behind, "Coming," hung over the station like a storm cloud. Commander Ray didn't sleep. No one did. "What do you think it means?" Dr. Lin asked as she stood beside Ray in the command center. Ray didn't answer right away. She stared at the dark ship floating outside, then spoke quietly. "It means something is following them, something worse, and it's headed straight for us. The Empire's high command sent more ships, war cruisers, science vessels, spy probes. The area around the black ship turned into a small fleet. Still, the strange vessel made no move. It just waited. Then the warning signs began. First, all long-range sensors shut down. Not broken, jammed. Something was interfering from deep space. Something huge. Then the stars began to disappear. One by one, the lights in the distance faded like something was blocking them. Something big enough to cover the stars themselves. A scout ship was sent to investigate. It never came back. But the final image it sent made everyone freeze. It was dark, almost black. But in the center, two glowing red eyes. Not on a screen, not from a ship, from something alive. "It's not a ship," Ray said slowly. "It's a creature." Dr. Lin nodded. "And it's older than anything we've ever seen." More ships were sent, all lost. No sound, no signal, just silence. The Empire called for full emergency protocol. Civilian ships were ordered to leave the area. Warships formed a wall between the station and the darkness. And the black prison ship started glowing again. This time it opened on its own. The glowing beings came out, not 5, but 10 of them. They'd spread out, forming a ring between the station and the stars. "They're forming a barrier," Dr. Lin whispered. A new vision hit the minds of the crew, this time stronger than ever. They saw what was coming. A massive creature made of shadow and fire, with arms like storms and a face full of hate. It had destroyed their world. It had followed them across galaxies. It was not just a killer. It was a devourer. It ate stars. It drank suns dry. It fed on life, light, and fear. And now it had found a new place to feed, the Empire. Commander Ray's voice was calm, but firm. "Get every weapon ready. If this is our last stand, we make it count." The beings in the light floated forward, and for the first time they spoke, not in whispers, but in a voice that shook the walls. "You cannot defeat it, but you can survive. With us." Suddenly, the station lights flickered, and the black ship powered up. Energy surged from its core, lighting up space like a second sun. The beings were not just survivors. They were guards. And now they were preparing to fight again. For the first time in centuries. Not just to survive, but to protect someone else. Space turned red. At first, it looked like a distant sun rising too fast. But it wasn't a sun. It was the creature. The one from the visions. The one that chased the glowing beings across galaxies. It moved through the void like a living storm. Its body stretched across the stars. Its face, if it had one, was pure darkness with burning eyes. Wherever it passed, light disappeared. Commander Ray stood at the window of the control deck, her fists clenched. The creature wasn't just coming. It was already here. "All ships, battle ready," she shouted. The Empire's warships moved into formation. Missiles were loaded. Energy cannons hummed with power. But everyone knew the truth. This was not a normal enemy. This was something ancient. Something no weapon had ever touched before. And yet, the glowing beings, those who came from the black prison ship, floated ahead, calm and silent. There were now 12 of them, standing between the station and the darkness. They raised their arms. Light burst from them, not fire, not lasers, but pure force. It looked like music and fire mixed into one. The energy shot forward and struck the edge of the red storm. For a second, the monster paused. And then, it roared. No sound came through the vacuum of space, but the pressure wave hit the station hard. Lights flickered. Screens cracked. People fell to the floor, clutching their heads. The creature responded with its own attack. A beam of red-black energy, wider than a city, slammed toward the glowing guardians. 2 of them vanished instantly. The rest held the line, glowing brighter, their bodies beginning to crack. Inside the command center, Dr. Lin screamed, "They're giving everything they have. They're burning themselves to hold it back." Ray watched, helpless. Then the creature turned its attention to the station. One massive limb stretched forward. Impact in 14 seconds. "Fire all weapons," Ray ordered. The Empire's ships launched everything. Missiles, lasers, shock torpedoes. The space between the station and the creature exploded in light. But it didn't stop. The creature's arm reached closer, until the black ship suddenly pulsed. A beam of white energy burst from its core and struck the creature dead center. For the first time, it flinched. Then the black ship opened. Fully. From its heart, something rose. Not a weapon. Not a guardian. But a machine, ancient and golden, shaped like a sphere, covered in writing older than time. Dr. Lin stared in awe. That's the key. That's what they were guarding. The glowing beings floated around it, chanting in a strange rhythm, their light pulsing with the machine's core. It activated, and the entire area around the station, space itself, bent. Time slowed. The creature's attack stopped in mid-motion. The Guardians poured their light into the machine, and it responded with a hum so powerful, it shook atoms apart. The black ship glowed with its full power. And then, the machine released its energy. A wave of light expanded in all directions. When it touched the creature, it screamed. This time, everyone heard it. Not in their ears, but deep inside their bones. The monster began to burn. Its limbs cracked. Its eyes dimmed. It tried to run. But the wave kept spreading, until the red storm was no more. Only silence remained. And one glowing being, barely alive, turned to the station and sent one last message. "You are not alone, but be ready. There are more." Then it vanished, just like the others. The black ship closed again, quiet, sleeping. Commander Ray sat down slowly as alarms turned off and systems came back to life. The Empire had survived. But the war was only beginning. The battlefield was silent. Where once the sky had burned red and darkness filled the stars, now there was nothing but stillness. The monster that had chased the glowing beings across galaxies was gone. Destroyed by a weapon older than history. A machine that no one fully understood. And 12 Guardians who gave everything to stop it. Commander Ray stood before the viewing window of the station, staring at the quiet black ship. It floated like a tomb, dark and unmoving. There was no more light, no more sound, no more beings. Just silence. "They're really gone," she said. Dr. Lin nodded. Her eyes were tired, her voice soft. "They weren't soldiers. They were protectors. And now they've left the key behind." The ancient machine, the one that had destroyed the creature, remained aboard the station. Its golden shell glowed faintly, as if waiting for someone to speak to it. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a message. After days of study, it became clear. The device could sense life. It could record history. It had memories inside it. of hundreds of worlds that were gone. And one warning written across its center in symbols that translated into perfect human language. The first is fallen, the rest are waking. Ray read it again and again. It meant the creature they fought was not the only one. And worse, it may not have been the strongest. A new emergency meeting was called. Leaders from across the Empire joined through long-range hololinks. Scientists, generals, even the High Chancellor herself. "What do we do now?" someone asked. "We hide," a voice said. "We bury the weapon. Act like none of this happened." "No," another said. "We use it. Build more, fight harder." But Dr. Lin stood up and spoke clearly. "We have to prepare. Not just to fight, but to understand. That ship out there, it wasn't here to invade. It came to warn us. To help us survive what's coming." Some agreed. Others feared. The debate grew loud and endless. Then Commander Ray stepped forward and ended it with a single sentence. "We were spared for a reason. We either learn why, or we won't be spared again." The black ship, silent all this time, suddenly blinked once. Just once. A soft light pulsed from its surface, as if it had heard. Dr. Lin turned to Ray. "It's waiting." "For what?" Ray asked. "For us, to make the choice." That night, as the stars returned to the sky and the station lights grew calm, two final things happened. First, the golden machine opened. Inside it was a map, not of space, but of the future. It showed paths, choices, possible outcomes, wars not yet fought, worlds not yet destroyed. It showed hope and danger. Second, the black ship sent one last signal. Just a single word. Guide. Not a threat. Not a warning. An offer. The ship had been a prison once. Then it became a shield. Now it could be a beacon. The Empire stood at the edge of the stars, holding a key to something far greater than itself. Behind them was fear. In front of them was mystery. But between both stood choice. Commander Ray looked at the map, then at the stars beyond. "Then let's begin," she said.